Welcome to the Sovereign Teacher. I teach spiritual integration through family constellations, embodiment, and tarot. And today we are moving into a Cancer moon. We just recently moved into a Cancer moon. So I have a friend who does astrology, and she gave us a notebook to record how we're feeling with different moons. And I did notice with Gemini, I'm not liking Gemini. Gemini is very a lot of like noise in my head, a lot of thoughts, and I feel like I'm still coming down from that. But Cancer feels a little bit nicer, a little flowier, a little more soft. How does it feel for you? Today is March 25th, and I would like to start out today with a reading from A Course in Miracles, and this is one of my favorite readings from A Course in Miracles. Lesson 108, to give and to receive are one in truth. Vision depends upon today's idea. The light is in it, for it reconciles all seeming opposites. And what is light except the resolution, born of peace, of all your conflicts and mistaken thoughts, into one concept which is wholly true? Even that one will disappear, because the thought behind it will appear instead to take its place. And now you are at peace forever, for the dream is over then. True light that makes true vision possible is not the light the body's eyes behold. It is a state of mind that has become so unified that darkness cannot be perceived at all. And thus, what is the same is seen as one, while what is not the same remains unnoticed, for it is not there. This is the light that shows no opposites, and vision being healed has power to heal. This is the light that brings your peace of mind to other minds to share it and be glad that they are one with you and with themselves. This is the light that heals because it brings single perception based upon one frame of reference from which one meaning comes. Here are both giving and receiving seen as different aspects of one. Thought whose truth does not depend on which is seen as first, nor which appears to be in second place. Here it is understood that both occur together, that the thought remain complete, and in this understanding is the base on which all opposites are reconciled, because they are perceived from the same frame of reference which unifies this thought. So it's seeing the whole system together. I'm a marriage and family therapist, so we would always say circular causality. When he does this, you do this, and when you do this, he does this, and it's just this cycle, and you can't tell where it begins or ends. And I think that's the same sort of thing that's happening here. So it's looking at the whole organism. Okay, let's keep going. One thought completely unified will serve to unify all thought. This is the same as saying one correction will suffice for all correction, or that to forgive one brother wholly is enough to bring salvation to all minds. For these are but some special cases of one law which holds for every kind of learning, if it be directed by one who knows the truth. To learn that giving and receiving are the same has special usefulness because it can be tried so easily and seen as true. And when this special case has proved it always works in every circumstance where it is tried, the thought behind it can be generalized to other areas of doubt and double vision. And from there it will extend and finally arrive at the one thought which underlies them all. Today we practice with the special case of giving and receiving. We will use this simple lesson in the obvious because it has results we cannot miss. To give is to receive. Today we will attempt to offer peace to everyone and see how quickly peace returns to us. Light is tranquility, and in that peace is vision given us, and we can see. So we begin the practice periods with the instruction for today and say, to give and to receive are one in truth. I will receive what I am giving now. Then close your eyes and for 5 minutes think of what you would hold out to everyone to have it yours. You might, for instance, say, To everyone I offer quietness. To everyone I offer peace of mind. To everyone I offer gentleness. Say each one slowly and then pause a while, expecting to receive the gift you gave, and it will come to you in the amount in which you gave it. You will find you have exact return, for that is what you asked. It might be helpful, too, to think of one to whom to give your gifts. He represents the others, and through him you give to all. Our very simple lesson for today will teach you much. Effect and cause will be far better understood from this time on, and we will make much faster progress now. Think of the exercises for today as quick advances in your learning, made still faster and more sure each time you say, "To give and to receive are one in truth." Okay, so this morning I was speaking to somebody who usually, for lack of a better way of saying it, steals my peace. And I have been working really hard to figure out how this person steals my peace and to maintain my peace. So part of it was fear, like fear that this person was going to steal my peace. But then recognizing that nobody can steal my peace, I hold my peace, I maintain my peace. And maintaining my peace, learning how to maintain my peace. So in speaking to this person this morning, I first recognized when they were, it was easy for me to recognize when they were trying to manipulate me. And I just laughed and said, "No, thank you." But good try. And then it lightened things. And I also realized I didn't need to be afraid anymore. And so then I was able to talk to them, but I was very, very observant of my energy and how far I opened myself. I was very conscious of not overgiving and not oversharing, which would be giving, and just kind of letting the flow go back and forth, but just not fearful, just very conscious of the flow of energy between myself and that person. And it ended up being a really great conversation, and I didn't feel like anything was taken from me. And I actually did feel more like giving and receiving were one. Just like that reading. So I'm just identifying like what made that happen. And I do think it was being conscious of the energy moving back and forth between myself and the other person, not being afraid that anybody could steal my peace because I'm holding it and I'm maintaining it. And how I do that by not overgiving or oversharing, just staying in that flow of energy. Okay, so now I'm going to start with the tarot reading, and this is my usual format. If you haven't been here before, I teach through tarot readings and family constellations. I teach sovereignty, and sovereignty is all about how you have everything you need within you to create the world around you. And all of your thoughts and emotions and beliefs do that all the time. But we carry a lot from our ancestors, and there's a lot that's already here from our ancestors that we're trying to turn around and kind of alchemize all these lessons so that we can channel it into what we desire, what we truly desire, our true essence, really. We don't have to work that hard. And that was one of the things that I was talking about with this person this morning. And I think also mentioned in that, I feel like it was also part of that reading, that you don't have to work that hard. And I think that's, everybody would love to not work so hard, right? I think we're all exhausted from working so hard, really trying. And what if we didn't have to work that hard? Because we don't. And I'm learning and I'm teaching at the same time. So sovereignty is knowing that you have everything inside you that you need to create the life that you want. And it's all about integrating and getting all of your parts to work together. And you have a lot of parts, and you have a lot of ancestors' stories inside of you. So it's alchemizing all of that and moving it forward and co-creating with the universe, with God, with other people, with using energy, and how to do that. So that's what sovereignty is. And it involves spiritual integration of the right brain, the feminine, and it involves integrating the inner child with the higher self, or inner mother and father that you have integrated. And it involves embodiment and what was the word that I wanted to use for that? Spirit, or self-mastery, mastering yourself in all of these parts. You become a higher, you filter everything through your higher self. So you don't allow your parts to take over. Because we all have like these parts that want to take over, that they feel a certain feeling and then they want to take over. So it's not letting any of those take over. It's your higher self is in charge and can mediate with all these parts or care for all these parts of you. And so you don't react, you respond from a very calm, conscious place, integrating the left brain and the right brain, the feminine and the masculine. Okay, so we start out with the Divine Beloved deck, oracle cards. And I like these tarot readings because I have so much going on in my brain. It's always like exploding. And I'm like, oh, I want to share this, I want to share that. And it's like popcorn all over the place. And so the tarot readings kind of center me and ground me and give me a guide for what spirit wants to say. My spirit, or my soul, which is connected to everything, what it wants to say, what it wants to create, what it wants to impart. Okay, so we have uncertainty and support. And I kind of use these as a little prayer too, to kind of set the tone for everything. So uncertainty, however you want to pray, you can pray with me now. Spirit, and I've been lately wanting to use Great Spirit. I was raised Catholic, Roman Catholic. I'm not that now because it doesn't kind of embody everything that I have learned. But I do love Jesus. And A Course in Miracles is supposed to be supposedly Jesus channeled through that book. And it really does feel like Jesus because it's all about forgiveness. Okay, so however you pray, you can get in prayer position with me and call God, your higher self, Abba, Spirit, whatever you call it. Great Spirit, let me deeply trust. May I live in the now and relax peacefully into the unfolding, knowing all the pieces of the puzzle will fall into place at the right time and not a moment before. Support. The right help will come. Allow me, Divine Beloved, to let go, relax, and enjoy the process, knowing that it is safe to offer all to your capable hands. The right actions are always shown, and the right help always comes. I'm going to add at the right time. Amen. And so it is, and so we remember. Okay, and I just want to share with you because it seems like very related. This morning I was singing the song in my head. Our house is a very, very, very fine house with 2 dogs in the yard. Life used to be so hard, but now it all is easier with you. And because I was feeling that, and I know it's 2 cats, but I'm gonna have 2 dogs. So that song was in my head and I wanted to play it. So I went to YouTube to play it because I like YouTube. And I didn't find that, but I found a reading from Louise Hay. And Louise Hay is one of my favorite people in the world. If you don't know Louise Hay, she is an amazing woman. She passed. Now I think she's my spirit guide. And she's all about, A Course in Miracles. and she is about manifesting. And she created her own, she wrote her own book about how the body and the spirit and the psyche all are creating the same sort of things. She had a very traumatic story. She changed it all around through love and forgiveness. And she had her own book company. She had her own radio company. Everything is still going, but she passed, I think it was maybe 2012 or something like that. And she was like 96 or something. But I love Louise Hay, and she came forward this morning, and what she said in her meditation was, everything I want is coming to me. She was very big on affirmations, visualizations, and gratitude, and then letting go. So the next thing, when I wanted to try to find that again, the other part was, everything is unfolding in perfect timing. So it's very related. And it's a lot about letting go and not being attached to things, just allowing the universe to bring you what you need, knowing and trusting that that will happen. And that has been my experience. It was an amazing, incredible experience. I don't know what cards I want to use next. Yeah, I'll just touch on that briefly because it's in a lot of my videos, but I ended up awakening to realizing that I needed to get a divorce. And I was a marriage and family therapist, so that wrecked my world. Like, it rocked everything. It made me question everything. And through that process, though, I was given everything that I had been trying to create, that I thought was going to come in the form of my husband, but came in the form of a new dog, a German Shepherd that I wanted, and a new house, like a beautiful house, but it was a mess. It was a disaster. And then this beautiful partner that I had been looking for, and I thought was my husband. But my husband didn't want the same things. And so it wasn't him. And this person, I did not think it was this person. I met him at karaoke and we sang together, and I was like, no, he smokes. Like, no, he doesn't seem very healthy because he smokes. And no, doesn't seem like the right person. Not my type at all. But I don't know, there was something about him. And we just really connected, and everything flows with him. It's so easy, and we want the same things, and we had the same visions, and it's just amazing, and it's what I was looking for. And I don't have to try. I was actually just telling my ex-husband that this morning, like, because I was saying I don't believe in marriage anymore, and I don't think that I ever want to get married again. Not that I don't believe in relationship. I'm all about relationship. I'm all about healthy relationships. And so, but you don't have to try so hard. You don't. You can be loved just as you are. And it's about clearing all those blocks. It's really about clearing all those blocks. Okay, so I wanted to get cards from messages from the guides. That was what I was drawn toward. And I got, don't relinquish your power, and ask for guidance. Great cards. Okay. So don't relinquish your power. You have created a blueprint for yourself, and your role in this matrix of life is vital. Your role, your particular role. Never be less than who you are. If this card appears in your spread, examine how you may be taking a back seat in the dynamics of this incarnation. Okay, so that speaks right to the giving and receiving, right? You're a part of whatever you're receiving. So what is your role in it? It may seem like an easier row to hoe if you acquiesce to others. So your role might be that you aren't speaking up for yourself and what you want. It may seem like an easier row to hoe if you acquiesce to others, but in reality, and this is a lot of women that I'm talking to, but in reality, but also just people that care a whole lot, and they seem to care more than other people. But in reality, you are doing a disservice to not only yourself, but your soul family. Your influence matters. I always would say to my clients, you need to put yourself back into the equation. You took yourself out of the equation. You need to be in there. Your influence matters. Your opinions matter. It is part of your birthright. Don't be so quick to undermine yourself and give away the strength of your convictions. The puzzle pieces that create the bigger picture don't come together as a whole if you choose not to participate. That was me. And a lot of women, and a lot of people that just care a whole damn lot. Accommodating and adapting to others and giving to others and wanting so much for others, but taking ourselves out of that equation. We need to be in the equation. Because if people really love you, they want you to be happy too. Okay. Have faith in yourself and know that your emotions are manifesting in a certain way and at a certain time for a reason. Many insecure humans try to take away the power of others to build up their own shortcomings. Be aware that this is the result of a fragile ego. Recognize it. You know what happens. Just recognize it and don't allow it. Acknowledge this and don't engage in their attempts at manipulation. Be steadfast. Have resolve. So that's what happened with me this morning. I can see it now. I recognize it. And I don't allow it. I laugh at it. I think it's funny. But I expect it, but I don't brace for it anymore because I maintain my peace. I don't allow others to affect my peace. And I'm going to think about that. Like, how do I do that? Because I've worked really hard at it. I don't have to work hard at it anymore. I think part of it is integration. Okay, ask for guidance. Be mindful that you are not on this journey alone. It can seem that way at times, but there are many souls not only on the earth plane, but in the spiritual realms who have your best interests at heart and are always eager to help. All you have to do is reach out and ask. When moments arise that are difficult and you feel that you need help making the correct choice, assistance is always here. This was the agreement before incarnation. Whether you are consciously aware of it or not, there are several ways to contact your guides. Through contemplation, meditation, prayer, or asking for contact in the dream state. Your connection to the wisdom of your guides is omnipresent. It's your job to find the best way for you to receive. Guides and other teachers may work closely with you, and they understand your physical habits and mental processes, so that they can steer you in the right direction. And maybe those guides are your ancestors, maybe they're angels. I don't try to spend a lot of time thinking about that, because you know and you feel whether it's right or not inside of you. If it feels dark and heavy, then you don't want to be listening to that. If it feels light and bright and uplifting, then that's what you want to listen to. Besides personal assistance, they also have the ability to influence earthly circumstances for your benefit. There are many beings surrounding you from many realms, such as philosophers, sages, wise men, scholars, and masters who no longer require incarnations in the Earth School. Asking for help is not perceived as a weakness. In fact, just the opposite is true. It is the fully aware human who acknowledges and accesses his or her connection to the spirit realms. Make it a daily ritual to ask your guides to go before you on your earthly path and show you the way. Okay. I am being called to get to do a reading from the Light Seers Tarot today. I used a different tarot yesterday, but this one I want to use today. But let's see what kind of reading we want to do. Okay, I want to do the light worker illumination spread. So the first card is grounding, and that comes in the middle. My boyfriend this morning told me he's going to build me something to put my tarot cards on so that you could see them. And that was really cool. Okay, so grounding, that goes, I'll show you it. So we're going to do this one right here. Grounding, place your card as it is pulled. Where am I right now? And then number 2, which goes below in the shadow seer position, what shadows need to be cleared before the situation can be resolved? And then in the 3rd position, which is above, that is illumination in the light seer position. This card represents the energy needed for the best possible outcome. Okay, so we'll do a short reading because I know I've been already going on for some time. So far we have uncertainty, support, don't relinquish your power, and ask for guidance. Okay, and we got the 6 of Pentacles. Oh, and I was going to turn them over after, but that one turned itself over. So the 6 of Pentacles is in the middle. I have it upside down, so we'll read both sides of it. And that is, where am I right now? Oh my God, that's so cool because it's about giving and receiving. And it's upside down, so that's where you are right now. Okay, I love it. And then below we have the 5 of Pentacles in the shadow position. This is so perfect. Okay, and that is underneath. And that is, what shadows need to be cleared before the situation can be resolved? So if you know the 5 of Pentacles, look, 5s are about change, and she doesn't feel like she has what she needs. She's feeling lost and depressed and down, and she doesn't have the resource. She feels like she doesn't have the resources she needs. But look, there's a key there and there's a lock, and she's just not looking at it. She's feeling heavy and burdened. Okay, so then we have above, and okay, this card represents the energy needed for the best possible outcome. Okay, so for a lot of my givers, we have a very hard time receiving. And if giving and receiving are actually one, our blocking is blocking we're just blocking energy. So we want to be able to receive and give. So how can we do that? Ooh, we got the 7 of Pentacles. Look, it's growing. It's growing. Yay. I knew we were going to get that card. Okay. So what are these cards telling us? First, let's do the 6 of Pentacles because it's upside down. So I want to see what is the message there. That's where we are now. Yeah. One-way flow of abundance, over giving or over receiving, hoarding and holding on to what you have, choosing not to help, being uncharitable, selfishness, ulterior motives, inability to accept help. Okay. Ooh. As a therapist, I was very comfortable giving, not very comfortable receiving. And I grew up that way, not comfortable receiving, because I wanted things, but I would just be disappointed all the time because I wouldn't get what I wanted. And so then I started to close myself off and to try to just do everything by myself. And that didn't work. Even I'm realizing now how I did that in my marriage, because now I'm like, oh wow, this is really different. And so we have to be able to see that, how we close off to receiving, how we are not comfortable with receiving, how that puts us in a vulnerable place, especially as givers, especially as therapists or teachers or anybody who's in that position of authority. It's a hierarchical position, and if you want to give and receive, you have to be in an equal position. You can't be in a hierarchical position, which is, I think, a lot of the problem with relationships. Okay. So, being open to give to others and to receive from others are states that we must all cultivate. This card asks you to experience these consciously. How does helping others make you feel? But I want to add to this. It doesn't feel good when they're not receiving. It doesn't feel good when they don't value it, right? It feels good, right? Abundant, heart-centered. Gifting your time, money, or energy to someone else will open up the floodgates of new resources coming your way. It only feels good if people are ready to receive what you offer. And that means you have to be ready to receive what you offer. Be generous with everything you have learned and remain conscious of the flow of abundance from the universe. Consider these sacred dualities, learning and teaching. I was just talking about learning and teaching yesterday. Receiving and giving, accepting and offering. Open your heart to this sacred balance of energy and fill in any gaps you have around scarcity and abundance. It will imbue your life with compassion and generosity and usher in new states of prosperity. Donating your energetic resources to help others will be life-changing for those in need. Choose a cause that moves your soul and watch your feelings of prosperity shift. And the affirmation is, I show gratitude for my life through generosity and compassion. So you can repeat that. I show gratitude for my life through generosity and compassion. But I want to add, I don't give to people who are not ready to receive. Because we need to have that sort of, discernment. So part of what was happening with me this morning was this person that I was talking to, I recognized that I overgive to this person and they're not ready to receive. And so I was very conservative and very conscious of what I was giving. And I just paid attention to that and allowed it to flow. But not overly giving, because I know now not to do that, and I'm very conscious of it. And I'm very conscious of staying within my own energy field, which Tai Chi has helped me a lot with. Tai Chi and Qigong has helped me really recognize how to stay in my energy field. Okay, so if we turn this right side up, which we can do now because we already said the affirmation, so then I turn it right side up. Two-way abundance, giving and receiving. You'll have to practice it though. Being charitable, a positive and generous mindset, advancement, awakening inflow, help coming from others. And we already saw that here with the support, right? So uncertainty, let me deeply trust. And then I want to go back to the A Course in Miracles reading where it's the exercise that we can practice this with. So we begin the practice periods with the instructions for today and say, to give and to receive are one in truth. I will receive what I am giving now. And then you close your eyes and for 5 minutes, think of what you would hold out to everyone to have it yours. You might, for instance, say, to everyone, I offer quietness. To everyone, I offer peace of mind. To everyone, I offer gentleness. To everyone, I offer abundance. Okay. Because these are all pentacle cards. They're all earthly cards. They're all about abundance on this earth. I don't know if you noticed that. Okay, so 5 of Pentacles is underneath us, and it is the shadow part that we need to alchemize. So financial or health difficulties, feeling left out or ostracized, worrying about security, a chance to clear energy blockages. So yesterday I did a constellation. After I did my reading, I did a constellation, a family constellation. And because I was getting this message all day, and recently I've been getting this message of, I've been holding a lot of grief for people. As a therapist, I had a lot of grief that was my own through the divorce. I had to work through a lot of that, and my family, my ancestors. So And some of it was coming up. I realized that part of me not wanting to go back and see my parents for Easter, I was recognizing that it wasn't my parents, it was something that I had to hold for them that I didn't want to hold anymore. And I think it was grief. So my mom lost her dad. He committed suicide when she was 7. She didn't know it was suicide till way later. But she had drawn a picture of it, and people were like, how did you even know that? Or where did that come from? And later she found out that the picture that she had drawn was what actually happened, but nobody told her that. It was just, she's a little bit psychic, I guess. We all are in different ways. Because it's energy. So, anyway, she never really fully grieved that. She found other ways of coping with it, and she was completely traumatized by that. And she was the oldest in a family of 4 children. My grandmother had to go to work. She ended up moving in with her parents in New Haven. She went to work, and my mom and her siblings were running around the streets of New Haven. My mom was in charge, and she was only a year older than each of her siblings. So she was totally parentified. But my grandmother was doing the best that she could. So there was a lot of trauma there, and a lot of unprocessed emotions, grief in particular. And I held a lot of that. And yesterday I was realizing I don't want to hold it anymore. And I held a lot for my clients too, grief and sadness, which is why I can't be a therapist anymore. I don't want to be a therapist anymore. So I did a constellation yesterday, and I put a piece of paper down of what I was holding for my family, and I wasn't sure exactly what it was. And then me. And then I stepped on me and was able to separate from what I was holding. And I think there was some entanglement with my grandfather. Like I was holding that energy, and we were entangled. So it helped to step back from it and just say, no, you're not here anymore, and I am not you, and separate from that, and you have passed. Rest in peace. And a lot of things came up in me, a lot of light things. I take the light, I leave the heaviness. I take the love, I leave the grief and the sadness. I can't hold this anymore. It's not mine to hold. And that has freed me up a lot. I feel that change and that shift. So you can do that if you want, if that's something that speaks to you as a constellation. I did stand on the heaviness and the grief too. And then it ended up being not just my grandfather, but a lot of people that passed, my cousin. And I was able to feel his lightness. I was able to feel their lightness instead of the heaviness. So letting that go and taking a step back from it, I was able to really connect with them and their light energy. And I think that's what we want to do with everyone, right? Because we project a lot onto people. And when we project onto people, we need to recognize it and then slowly and gradually take it back. Then we can alchemize it and utilize it to move forward and to create what we want. And we can actually then see them as who they really are. We can see their true light, as I was able to do with that person this morning. Okay, so I'm going to read you It's time to squarely address any feelings about safety and security that have you worried about your well-being. Are you stressed out about your finances or health, or feeling left out from the prosperity that others seem to enjoy? To counteract these corrosive energetic states, you are being asked to reclaim your personal power. Don't relinquish your power. I'm just amazed at how these all go together. But I think it's so awesome. It's because I have aligned and integrated so much. Okay. And I'm teaching you how to do it too. because I don't want you to work so hard. There's so many beautiful people out there, and you're probably one of them, otherwise you wouldn't have been attracted to my channel. So many beautiful people who love so much and haven't really gotten that in return, but you are going to. You're going to receive that. It's just about letting go of these blocks and integrating all of these parts. To counteract these corrosive energetic states, you are being asked to reclaim your personal power. Find your hunger for fierce positivity and seek opportunity in your current circumstance. It's hiding in the shadows. If you've been stagnant for a hot minute, ask yourself if you've been laser focused on the things that are lacking in your life. Okay, I've been stagnant for a hot minute, and like a whole year, but that was because I was reeling from that divorce and healing from that divorce. And it was just so much sadness and grief, and also stuff that I was carrying from other ancestors, and that may be you too. So sometimes we need to give ourselves that grace and that space to feel those feelings and heal those feelings. And that's not stagnant. That's moving through grief and emotion. But now I'm ready to move, and I think maybe a lot of us are ready to move in one way or another, and I'm ready to move into my purpose. If fear, self-pity, or helplessness try to dictate your reality, flip the script and remember that against all odds, all oppression, all class barriers, all everything, there is always a choice to move beyond your current limitations. And there's always a different way to see it. Make the absolute best of your luminous life. You are not locked out from that which you desire. See the keys that will help you get there and choose to open that door. I wasn't ready to move towards anything for a whole year and a little bit more than a year. There's too much that was weighing on top of me, and I couldn't. But now I'm ready to move. I moved through a lot of those emotions, those heavy emotions, and now I'm ready to move. I'm ready to grow, ready to grow. That's our next card. The best possible outcome, 7 of Pentacles. And that came out right side up. A pause, states of gratitude. That's also what Louise Hay was talking about this morning, starting every day with gratitude. Reflecting on your journey, waiting to harvest the fruits of your labor. And she said, just, you don't have to do things. You just wait and receive. It's all coming to you. You've already done the work. You can do things that you're inspired to do, but don't keep running on a hamster wheel or spinning your wheels. Okay. Waiting to harvest the fruits of your labor, a sign to keep going. All right. As I give thanks for what I am about to harvest, I know that my life is headed in the right direction. And that's what Louise Hay was telling me this morning. It's coming. Okay, you're almost there. You've been doing the work, and your wildly successful roots are growing. You may not see the fruits of your labor yet. Know that they exist, and that any lack you are feeling is simply residual energy that's being worked through. It's time to fall into faith. Let me deeply trust. And to pause and give thanks. Realize that you are the living, breathing result of all your memories, hopes, and hard work. Keep going. This moment gives you a divine interlude to revisit your purpose and direction. Your arrival is possible only after you pinpoint the destination. Has your journey shifted so much that what you originally germinated is not the thing you desire to harvest? What needs to change to satisfy your deepest intentions? If you are feeling any frustration or lack of progress, remember that giant dreams are not built in a day. Take a moment to breathe and reflect as these profound sacred breaths can reinvigorate and realign. Okay, so when my whole life turned upside down and I had to rebuild, and what I'm noticing now is that I've let go a lot of those things that I believed about myself And I'm really starting to define my own life. What is important to me? What do I value? What do I want to have in my day, every day? How do I want to start my day? What's important for me? And now I'm starting to create the life that I wanted. I've been doing it, but I was kind of like very stuck for a while, just really sad and depressed and working through all of it, doing a lot of internal work, but not really doing much on the not doing much at all on the outside. I just really couldn't do a lot. But all that work that I did was not for nothing, and it's actually going to give me so much momentum, I know. And I am creating the life that I want, and it has balance of giving and receiving, and loving and being loved, and rest and work. It has balance in all ways. And so I'm going to end this reading with you. And so we remember that we are sovereign beings and we can master ourself. We can be in our highest self and respond instead of react. Respond with compassion and generosity and love from our center, from where we stand. Amen. And so it is. And so we remember.